In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
And now, coming live from the Midwest Racks and Rods studio, it is the Outdoor Show with your hosts, Scott Biscobing and Drew Biscobing. And then, of course, we have Luke, our producer, PBRM ASAP Ortman. And with special in-studio guests, let's give it up for Drop 'em, Jonny Baumann. Giving it up for Drop 'em.
Heck yeah.
I don't know what I deserve to get that kind of an introduction tonight.
No, it was nothing. I was
yeah, sure.
had a little.
Yep.
Let me just have a little wraparound. Usually gets
You
rid of
probably
it.
should.
There you go.
Got a bad shoulder, can't do it. All right. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Midwest Racks and Rods Outdoor Show. And right now, this show is brought to you by our partners.
Right. Brought to you by Bucket Ready. Bucket Ready offers premium food plot seed for the best results when attracting wildlife to your property. Knowing what deer prefer, when they prefer it, and putting the best seed together for deer in your special hunting spot is what Bucket Ready Performance Food Plot Seed Mixtures is all about. BucketReady.com. Come on, folks. Get on it.
Get on it. Yeah, get on it. So tonight, folks, we got a little change of pace here. If you're tuning in, you're tuning in on YouTube and YouTube only. Unfortunately, I don't know, we had this weird thing today. We came in and our streaming service is having an issue connecting with Facebook, and there
was a message from their developer basically stating it's not our fault.
Right. It's not on our end. It's on Meta. Meta knows. They're trying to get it corrected or whatever. Thanks for your patience.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for your patience. You
yeah,
know, we're paying for a service here, and we're trying to get this out to as many people as we possibly can. But so here we are on YouTube, and I know most of you watch us on Facebook. If you're here tonight watching on YouTube for the first time, or even for your second or third time, and you have not yet hit that subscribe button, please, as they say, smash that subscribe button right now. Smash it.
Don't forget to hit the little bell.
Yeah, and hit the bell. Hit the notification
notification
button so you never miss a notification about our next episode. But if you would be so kind as to do that, we'd really appreciate that.
We would.
It's nice to have multiple options for streaming the show and that for just these kinds of things. Back in the day, we used to just stream strictly on Facebook.
Yep.
And we wouldn't be doing a show tonight.
And then Zuckerberg, just...
Well, let's...
What does it matter? We're not on it.
Well, I don't know.
We can blaspheme him all we want.
Get on it.
It'll still find you.
It's like Beetlejuice. Don't say it 3 times at least. Don't say his name.
Fair enough.
So here we are, guys, and we appreciate you guys tuning in here tonight, and we're happy to have Jonny back.
Yeah, welcome, Jonny.
Drop him, Jonny.
Yeah, glad to be here. Love being here with you guys.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. How's that bourbon treating you?
Beautiful.
Yeah. What's everybody drinking tonight? I'd love to hear in the comments.
Yeah, drop in the comments. What's your cocktail of choice while you're
what Drew? What are you guys on right now?
brown water.
Brown apple juice, as it
Straight out of the Milwaukee River. I see
right behind us.
I think we're just rocking a little Old Forester.
Top of the dam or bottom of the dam?
I think you scoop from the top.
I'm too short to be messing around with the white caps and the rapids and stuff. I got to get it from the top.
So it's a little Old Forester?
Yeah, a little OF. Nothing fancy, but you know what? It gets the job done.
Yeah. And I'm drinking. This is my first time trying this stuff here. It is. It's called Bucked Up Energy, and it's got a picture of a buck on it.
It makes
So
sense.
I'm like, man, I got to try this stuff out.
And this is damn near like our logo.
It's similar in some ways. Luke's indicating that he has tried it.
Oh, no, we got a comment.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Summer Fillinger, cran raspberry juice, no beatbox.
No
beatbox. Not rocking the beatbox tonight.
I've heard things about those beatbox boxes.
Especially when she chugs them. Holy crap. That's a good time.
We've been privy to a couple of those.
I want to tell you guys something. I love you. It's wonderful. Don't talk to Luke. I hate him. We got another.
Yeah, Zach Anderson, first big drop 'em Johnny.
Yeah.
Cheers, he's drinking bush lattes.
All right. Bush lattes all day, every day.
There might be a switch over to that at some point.
Oh, for sure.
We got a refrigerator full of those bad boys.
And some
there,
Montucky cold snacks. Love my cold snacks, man.
Yeah, there's some Miller Lights in there too, for the local Wisconsin folks.
That's right.
I didn't bring my Yingling this time.
Oh, man.
I'm
See,
sorry.
that would have been a nice gift. Keep your hats, man. Bring some
Screw that. I love the hat.
But yeah, so I'm drinking the Bucked Up energy drink here. This one's called Pump and Grind, which makes me a little uncomfortable, but
P. Diddy
I'm mixing it with a little bit of Wheatley vodka. You had to go there. I knew that was going to come. As soon as I said Pump and Grind. But my Pump and Grind is mixed with a little bit of Wheatley vodka.
And not baby oil.
Over at Buffalo Trace. So you said it's the Diddy party. Oh, God. It's the Diddy party coming out. Start saying bubbles and all that. Boy. Folks, you guys are in for a real one tonight.
Oh, absolutely.
You're always in for a real one.
Yeah. It's a little slanted there.
A little slanted.
Luke, what else you got?
We got a Connor
Goslinowski.
Peach Bird Dog Whiskey.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
right.
Okay.
I like a little bird dog.
Oh, yeah.
the
Cheers to
creamy.
that. Cheers to that.
Thirsty Thursday.
4
This is starting to taste like I'm not going to work tomorrow.
a.m. for me, baby.
So now that we established what we're all drinking and that this is going to be, one of those shows once again.
That's right.
We're just gonna be yeah, by the end. What were we talking about?
Johnny, you're the man.
Cheers, brother.
So, Johnny, you are with Drop 'em Outdoors, Drop 'em Johnny. That's kind of where that comes from.
Yep.
And then you are also a co-owner of Tagged and Bagged.
Yep, my partner's Mitchell Haver. He's a good buddy of mine. Me and him both kind of brought our ideas together and then created the whole thing.
Sure. And as you guys, who watch the show, know that Tagged and Bagged is one of our partners here at
Tagged
Midwest
and
Racks
Bagged.
Outdoors. Before we get into Tagged and Bagged too much, what's new with Drop 'em Outdoors? What have you been up to this summer?
So you've
been busy, I know that.
we've been on a full out grind. We did a ton of expos, met a ton of amazing people. No, dude, it's been amazing. Jason's been doing a lot of our different artworks and different hats, shirts. We actually got a drop coming out in about a week and a half. So new merchandise coming out, and man, I've just been busy as all heck,
And this Jason that you speak of, would that be Jason Schrader of Midwest Racks and Rods Outdoors fame?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's 9 degrees of Midwest.
Yeah, dude, he's a stud.
Oh, that is.
Love that man.
He's awesome.
So you've been doing the expos and stuff. Which ones have you been doing? I know you guys did Deer Fest. I was in Indiana.
Yeah, Deer Fest was a
weekend.
little
I
slow,
didn't make
but
it
I
out
mean,
there
it
this
was
year.
good to see, all the vendors there. Got to know a lot of the vendors. Talked to Chase Nation quite a bit. They're awesome guys.
Yes.
Awesome guys. Yeah.
And then, we did the Waterfowl Expo out in Oshkosh too, and that was awesome, man.
Yeah.
It was so cool. It was the first
Good
time
turnout.
first time we ever really ran the Tagged and Bagged booth, and we were so blessed to have a ton of people around it and just talking about it, getting it out there. It's something completely new that changes the game for everybody.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it was so cool to see that. And some of the guys were working my Drop 'em Outdoors booth. And that was the first time I ever stepped away from that. and they did a phenomenal job. It was just a blast all around, man. It was just so cool.
That's
it's just
awesome.
awesome to meet new people and hear their stories, you know?
And when you're meeting them in that arena, right?
Yep.
That sort of venue, everybody's amped up. You know, Deer Fest, right? It's always a good time.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
always a good time.
Because
whether you're-
everybody's thinking about the same stuff.
Right.
and
Yeah, but
everybody's
we're drinking
excited.
beers, we're hanging out, just
Telling
laughing.
stories, yeah.
And I love hearing the stories, man, because I wish
the
I could
best.
remember all of them. But it's so cool to just hear them get all excited about it. You know, them shooting their first deer, or going out for their first time duck hunting. It's like just so
Definitely.
cool, man.
Yeah, absolutely. What other ones were you at this year?
So we did the lacrosse show. We did the Wisconsin Dells show, which
Yeah.
was an awesome show. There was a ton of people there. Met
Yeah.
a ton of cool people. We did one in Peoria, Illinois, and that
Okay.
one was cool. I'd never been down to Illinois for a show, and it was pretty cool. It was a Deer Classic down there,
Sure.
and it was a really good show. It was fun. And then we went to Kalamazoo, Michigan, and we traveled a little bit everywhere. It was a good time.
I know. Every time I tune in with you guys, I'm like, well, where are they off to right now?
Yeah, and I'm
And
very.
but you're really pushing. You're
Yeah.
pushing the brand really hard, and that's what it takes. Is you got it's that grind.
It is a grind.
And you're a young man, so
Yeah, and it's a grind, but to be honest, if I didn't have my other half there to like organize everything perfectly,
Sure.
like I just slapped the stuff on the table. She's like, just step away. I got this. And she makes it look beautiful at the end. So.
But at open season this year, it looked great between
Oh, yeah.
tagged and bagged and drop them right next door to each other. Yeah, you guys had a nice setup, and I got some really nice duck prints.
Dude, yeah.
That you can hang up
I
at
know,
your
dude.
things.
I know, man. It's
Where the hell did you get those things from?
I don't know, man.
The one person who was really happy to see those go away was my wife. she's like, can we get rid of these? I'm like, no, these are like actually signed and numbered.
Yeah, they're awesome. We got them
It's
hanging
like
at the cabin.
Right. I mean, they're prints, obviously, but
Oh,
then the
wow.
artist has got them signed and numbered in that, and there's only X amount of them in that. I bought them at an auction like years ago and stuff
Sure.
in that, and I just kind of been hanging on them, wanting to get them framed and that, and I'm like, you know what? I know some people that might be interested in
it'd be
that.
right-
So
yeah,
I
it's
don't
right
know.
up
I
your
gave
alley.
you like 2 or
I think 3 of them.
3 of them
Yeah,
in that. I
they're
gave Nick
awesome.
Munding one and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Good old
appreciate it.
Nick Munding.
Yeah, we just had him on the show here recently. Yeah, Luke, what you got?
We got a shout out for Johnny from Nick. He says, "Shout out Johnny
Shout out to
All right.
John.
Shout out Johnny!
from Nick.
Whoever that Johnny guy is.
Nick, no last name. Old Dodge.
Wrap
man.
around to that there. Yeah. Ouch.
Glad to have you tuning in there, Nick. Enjoy the show and make sure you have enough alcohol. Keep up with us here because that's the only way it's going to make sense. But anyways, so
Since I need some more already.
Drop 'em has been busy. Tell us a little bit about Tagged and Bagged. I mean, I know we talked about it on the last show, but for any of those who didn't see you on that last episode that we did when you joined us earlier in the year, and it was like right after that we kind of linked up and like, hey, this makes sense. Like, we'll help
Yeah.
you guys out, scratch.
Yeah, no, it's been
Scratching backs.
it's been a really cool ride, man. Like, so we've tried to make everything made in America, and we will be able to officially do that in about a month,
Yes.
month and a half,
USA.
100%.
USA.
So that's our biggest thing coming up. Is we didn't really have the money at first to upfront it because when
Sure.
you do stuff made in America, you got to buy it by the tens of thousands and whatnot. And we're like, screw it, whatever it takes. So we put our foot down, and now our future products are going to be all made in America.
That's beautiful.
100%.
That's beautiful.
And it's really hard. You think about it. There's plastic. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? How many companies make plastic in America?
Right.
So we don't want to skimp out on it. We don't want to do it cheap. But yeah, no, I guess the whole atmosphere of it, so you guys kind of know, is Tagged and Bagged is all about preserving your birds properly. So when you take it from the field to the freezer or for travel, it's a whole packaging process. And there's never really been a kit. I always had to look up pictures and videos on how to do it, and I never had the right supplies. I'm like, somebody's got to make a kit. I looked it up, nobody did. And I'm like, screw it, I'm going to make one. So we researched it for like 3 years.
Okay.
Talked to over 50 different taxidermists. And it's just been an all-out grind
To
on
kind of
it.
get their idea of
Yeah.
of what they think how a
the
duck
best.
should be preserved
Yep.
before it gets to taxidermy.
Because they understand, because they deal with it all the time. So like they get birds that are just freezer burnt to hell, and they're
Yeah.
like, dude.
What are you supposed to do?
So what you do is you want to take the bird and you want to look at it first. You want to make sure there's no pin feathers, because pin feathers are really hard to work with for the taxidermist. Then you're going to take the bird. You're going to kind of work back all the feathers. You wrap the feet and the head with like a wet towelette, because those are the first things to dry out. And if they dry out, they'll freezer burn. Then they got to basically redo the whole thing.
And that's in the kit?
Yep. So you get towelettes. You can dump them in the river, whatever. But like instead of like, people say paper towel, but paper towel, if you ever get it wet, that stuff shrivels up.
Oh, yeah.
So we got some real fancy bougie towelettes. Okay. And like we did everything bougie, like to the max limit. So you wet those, wrap the feet, wrap the head. Then you're going to take a cotton ball and you're going to stick in the duck's mouth.
Okay.
So that way, when you lay it back on the body or underneath the wing, however you prefer, there's no extra blood dripping out of it and going back onto it, because that's one less step that the taxidermist has to clean out. And then along with that, we have straps to actually hold the towelettes on the feet and the head to make sure it's secured.
Okay.
And right now we're using nylons. We're going to kind of fade away from those nylons. They work great for travel, but the taxidermist, it's like 50-50 for the taxidermist if they like it or not. But we're kind of swaying away with it. But
What was the idea behind that? Just to keep...
yeah, keep all the feathers together. And like we did a looser nylon, and they're still good to use. They're a looser nylon, so it doesn't like cramp them real tight, but it holds it together. That way, like if you put it in a cooler, like somebody throws something on top of it, it ain't going to bust up a feather.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
That makes sense.
that whole process. And then our freezer bags that you stick the bird actually in is like 3 times as thick as a freezer bag, like a regular one you get at the store. And they're made in America, which is pretty kick-ass. Yeah. And so that actually stops the freezer burn from like happening fast. Okay. So, I mean, it's a whole process. We got it on a super simple sheet, like you could have your 8-year-old kid do it and he'd figure it out. So,
Or our producer, Luke. So when you get that bird in there, how long, I mean, legitimately, is it going to be preserved for to get it to the taxidermist?
So I honestly,
He said it. He did it again. Taxidermist.
I think that makes sense. It makes sense to everybody but you.
Taxidermist.
I don't like that.
It's like it's a guy who drives a taxi, but he's a
Dermist. What the hell's a dermist?
I believe they take care of skin.
yeah, right.
That's what I hate it here.
A taxidermatologist.
When you
That's
take
big
it to the
words
guy
right there.
that does the thing with the thing, how about that?
Okay, so
Never saying
we
that
have
word
a bird
again.
in the freezer for 2.5 years right now, sitting in about the same bag, not the American-made bag, but it's sitting in that bag and it's still good yet.
Are you
2.5
serious?
years, yeah.
And
There's a little
you're
bit
just
of
using that as some sort of a
Control sample.
yeah. So we got that one in there, and then we have one wrapped in newspaper, which is some people's ideas, and then garbage bags. Because the biggest thing is you can't find a bag that fits a goose. Tell me what bag fits a goose, fits a turkey.
Sendix bag, like a Sendix bag.
No way. No way. Unless they got bigger size Sendix bags.
What size turkeys are you killing?
He's shooting the ones in fall, like fresh off the hatch.
Yes, yeah, there you go. Well, why would that be any different than the deer that I shoot? I hate it here. This is really
No, but our bags actually will fit a turkey in them. The goose bags will fit a turkey, a sandhill crane, and a goose.
okay.
So we're trying to get everything together for it, and like even long-tail birds, like the pheasants, the pintails, the old squaws. We're kind of telling people buy a goose bag if you're gonna do it for now, but we're actually coming out with a new product coming soon. It's actually gonna be for long-tail birds. It's gonna be like a safe tube to stick the tail in.
Okay.
That way it holds it together. Like, let's say your wife just starts slapping shit in the freezer. She ain't going to be able to crush and snap that tail off.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So you have different sizes all throughout your product line then?
Yeah, right now we have a duck and a goose, and the duck will fit most ducks, and then the goose fits pretty much everything else. So your turkeys, your pheasant, your pintails, your turkeys, everything. So it's gonna fit pretty much everything you need, but we want to make it more specific. And that's the thing is we don't put out products until we test them. So like
Love
we
that.
want to make sure it's like 100%. I mean, let's say it's your kid's first bird. He shoots that first bird and it's something meaningful, or your dog's last retrieve. I'm not going to put out a product that's going to end up just like ruining your freaking bird. So
Right.
we did a lot of time studying, researching, and we're actually backed by like one of the biggest taxidermists in Wisconsin. Bird Zone actually backs us.
Nice.
They're
That's
all
awesome.
about it. They love it. So yeah, it's been a really cool ride, man.
So let me play devil's advocate here real quick. I'm 69 years old. I'm not really, but I'm a 69-year-old man, and I've been duck hunting almost all my life
Yep.
and taking birds to taxidermists and that. I've got a wall full of birds.
Yep.
And that I've been doing it the old school way. Why should I go with it? What makes this different than the old tactics and ways of doing it?
Your bird at the end of the product. So like when the taxidermist receives that bird, it's going to be in that much better condition. It's going to be that much easier to work on, and you're going to get the same bird that you shot. A lot of taxidermists I've talked to have to patch birds together, do a ton of extra work on them.
Okay.
And our goal and our dream is to be able to make those taxidermist turnaround time a lot quicker. Bird Zone takes about 1.5 to 2 years to get your bird back.
Holy
Sure.
crap.
It's crazy.
Well,
but they do a phenomenal job.
Right. Yeah.
You know
No,
what
I guess
mean?
I had no idea that.
Yeah. So like that's the whole thing. Like let's say the turnaround time, because there's less work on the bird. So now I'm hoping to get in with taxidermists sometime in the future and be like, hey, if we give you these kits, will you knock off $25-$50 off the mount cost?
Because it should be
it's
easier.
less time.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I've talked to some of them. They're about the idea. It's just a matter of getting it out there now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a new product. Nobody,
Right.
and that's the thing. Like a lot of old timers come up to me and be like, oh yeah, I just throw them in Ziploc bags and, they still turn out fine. I'm like, yeah, that's all good and whatnot. But you know what? If you leave a bird in there for 3 years, I've had a taxidermist turn my bird down because it was so freezer burn. He's like, dude, I literally cannot work with this. Like
That sucks.
It's going to take me too much
So
time.
why not take it to the taxidermist right away?
So you can, absolutely. But the thing is, life happens. You get done with a hunt on Sunday, you ain't going to the taxidermist. He's closed. Then you got work on Monday. You got to unpack. And then the next weekend, you're hunting again. So, like, I've forgotten I got a bird in the freezer from 4 years ago, crossing my fingers that it's okay, but it's definitely not. Like, that thing has been stacked upon.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's the biggest thing I'm trying to solve is, you're paying for a $500 mount about on average.
Sure.
What's $25 to make sure your bird is in perfect condition for up to 2.5 years is what we've seen so far.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Priceless.
It's great.
Yeah.
Right. So 25 bucks is what the price range is.
Yeah, and actually
It's insanely reasonable.
yeah, so we're at like 25 to 30 right now. Our price is actually going to end up coming back down a little bit because of we're being able to do it in America, and we're trying to like work with our prices and work with mass production. So we've bought things in mass in America now, and we're really trying to get this done right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I guess the thing I love about it most is that you saw a need and you didn't like wait for somebody else to do it. You grab the bull by the horns and you're like, all right, no, this is what we're going to do. We need this and we're going to freaking do it. That's terrifying
Oh, dude,
in of
it's-
itself.
It's
right?
scary. I'm a 24, sorry.
You're 24?
Yeah, I'm 24.
Shit.
And, I haven't even bought my first house yet. So, like, investing all this money, trying to make a solution for everybody, I don't care about the money. To me, money means nothing. Yeah, it's got to be made. But
Yeah.
I care about the average hunter that needs to get taken care of, the average taxidermist. I want to help people out. That's my biggest thing, man.
Well, and the other thing too is you are a big waterfowl hunter.
Yep.
For one, and this wasn't a venture like you were like searching for something. What do we need? What's something I can create a business out of?
Yep.
You saw a need and then created a business out of it instead of so many guys are like trying to invent the newest and greatest gadget or whatever that's going to make your hunt easier or bring bucks in or do all these different things.
Yep.
And not to disparage any of those companies and stuff, but what you did was like, man, if there was a way that we could do this better and make it easier for the taxidermists and things like that, and then you came up with a business out of that.
Yep.
That I think says a lot too. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because there's so many people looking to find a way to create something, to create a shortcut, to make things easier,
Right.
Because they want to create a business, not necessarily because there's a need for it.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes those two things can go hand in hand,
Which
right?
is great.
And that's great.
Which is great.
Yep.
But sometimes, to quote Dan Infault, so who's pushing the latest and greatest fairy dust,
Right.
this year,
Yeah.
when it comes to, and that's him as a deer hunter and old school and doing it seasoned and doing it the way he's always done it, and that he's not into the pixie dust and that,
Yeah.
but that's not what this is. This is something completely different. This is, the after.
Yeah.
It's always about, what we can do to kill the animal and bring the animal down, whether it's a buck or a duck or goose or a turkey or whatever, but there's more to it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And like the cool thing is too, is like, we're going to innovate into fish. So we're going to work on fish, how to preserve a fish properly, because we're working with taxidermists. We're talking to them every day. I mean, we get to know them. We like, hey, how can we benefit you guys? And how can we make it easy and simple for the people who are actually catching their trophies? And so fish is a big one. And then we're going to work into big game pack outs. So like pack out kits, they got, there's some out there.
Like the game bags
But
and stuff.
I packed out my bear this spring, and I was like, my buddy's like, dude, yeah, they're kind of gimpy. And I'm like, how much is it? He's like, it was $85. And I'm like, what? For this? I'm like,
You could do it better.
you know what I mean? And I'm not knocking people. You know what I mean? They've researched it, but I feel like, we can always work our way into different things and make things better, and always engineer and think about it and test it and everything else.
I've bought in some of those game bags for whitetails and that, like for early season and stuff, to help you keep the flies and things like that off of them. Like, these things are way too small.
Yeah.
I can't fit these quarters and stuff like that in there.
Yeah, they stick out
decently. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's like,
Totally defeats
flies
the
are still
purpose.
getting it. Right. Yeah. I mean, I haven't bought a lot of them, there's been one or two that I've bought, and I'm like, and I've just never gone back because I'm like, well, these suck.
Yeah.
You know what I
exactly.
mean? So yeah, there's definitely a need for that. And if you can find your niche, then that's great. That's fantastic. And we're happy to, have you guys partnered with us. And
Yeah, we love it.
that, so.
We love the show.
somebody does.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
thankfully.
wait a second.
I mean, hi. You guys still tuned in? That's great.
Get on it.
I'll be right back. There's a Montucky cold snack.
Yeah. I'll take a bush latte. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So producer Luke is also indicating.
No,
that
we have a comment.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Luke.
Mike Thalen, whoever that is,
Yeah.
ends up a deer diaper more than anything! Exclamation point.
Right. Like some of the, yeah, I know exactly what he's talking about. The deer diaper.
Mike, we'll see you on Saturday.
Look.
You should have bounced it off his head.
Thanks, bros.
Appreciate it, brother.
So, Tagged and Baked is doing well, and honestly, some of the stuff is new to me. I mean, the fish stuff, I didn't know you were going that route.
I mean, there's testing to be done.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, whatever. I'm not going to put out a product that doesn't work.
Right.
We're going to do the research. We're going to do it right.
See if it's going to
And
work.
it's already
then-
being tested. It's just the matter of fact of when are we going to be like, okay, this is good to come out.
Having talked to taxidermists in that, when it comes to fish, where are most fishermen at? Do they want their fish, or do they want a replica? Like, is that something you've talked about with them at all?
So
Or?
he said that most of the fish he gets are actually the fish they catch.
Okay.
And you're going to get your muskies. Those are
Yeah.
all replicas.
Right.
Any muskie fisherman knows that,
Sure.
unless they're a psychopath. But,
Right.
or they're going to get killed for doing it. But it's a lot of, whatever they catch. Like, it's really cool. I was talking to a guide out in Waupun, and he His name's Boyd, and he's an awesome dude. And he's like, dude, we go perch fishing up in the UP, and he catches these mondos. Like he said, like one fish a day is a mounter, like an absolute mounter, and it's really cool. So we're working with that, and it's just a learning curve for me because I've never had even a glimpse of like how to actually preserve them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like everybody hears so much different. Like one guy will tell you one thing, the other guy will tell you another. And that's our goal, is to take everybody's idea and actually research it and put it into actually one kit.
Yeah.
That way you got it. It's simple. You throw it, you're going to have your walleye bag, you're going to have your panfish bag, you're going to have, all different types of stuff, which is really cool.
It is very cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. I think what you guys are doing and how you're doing it is really inventive, for lack of a better term. But it's great because, again, you saw a need, and it wasn't just like, oh, how can I make money off this? No, I mean, you truly have a passion for it. That definitely comes out in the energy that you're giving here tonight and what you've given any other time that we've talked.
Well, just as a waterfall hunter in general,
Right. Yeah, exactly.
which is obviously something. And with that said, I'd like to kind of transition into that. So here we are now, beginning of the season for waterfowl.
Yep.
Have you been out yet?
Yeah, I did go out opener. We ended up shooting 20 birds the first weekend. I took out 2 new guys with me, and it was really cool to see them sit there as I unload my gun on the first group, and they're like, what just happened? I'm like, you gotta pay attention, boys. Like, it happens like that. There is no take 'em. Like, it is like happening now.
Yeah.
But no, dude, just to see their faces light up after we do light up some birds, it was just, it's so cool to see them do it and learn. Like, if I had some shooters with me, would have shot more birds, sure. But to me, having them experience it means so much more to me, because that's more waterfowl hunters out there. I love introducing new people. Last year, I probably took 6 new people into it. So it was really, really cool to see them react, to shooting at something. And it's hard, man. It is challenging. So they see me, like, I've shot at a ton of birds, and by no means am I a perfect shot. But, I can hit one here and there. And they're like, holy shit, man, I don't know how you're hitting them. And I'm like, dude, I don't know either. Like, I just lead them. Like, I've shot about 10,000 shots through the shotgun. So, you figure it out. But no, it was a fun time. And this weekend I'm headed up to the Wisconsin River and going to try and bang them up there. So
Nice. I would say for a lot of guys that are new into, or even thinking about getting into waterfowl hunting, it can be very intimidating. I mean, I think it is in anything, like if you never deer hunted before and you wanted to start doing that can be intimidating, just as anything else. Luke, what you got?
Yeah. So Colton, Johnny, you're great at introducing people to the sport. You taught him everything.
That's awesome.
yeah,
Love
we
that.
actually, I took him
deer.
for the bachelor party. We had a bachelor party for it was early goose, and yeah, we let him shoot at some birds first, and he was having a blast. It's just cool to see dudes like that, just having a good time, you know, enjoying it. And, I don't know, I was brought up doing it, so it's a little bit different. Like you said, it's intimidating.
Sure.
You're 20, 24, 23 years old. You're not sure what to do. You're never brought up doing it. You're like, I don't know. And then you go out in public land and people are being crazy. You know what I mean? Like, that to me is really hard. Is the public land hunting can be really difficult. So like when I get guys that message me like, hey, do you know any spots around this area? I'll drop them pins. I'll be like, hey, this is a good safe spot to go to, and like not everybody's going to be piled up on top of you.
That's awesome. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Well, and honestly, that's the biggest thing too, right? Is where you're going to go in that as a newbie.
Yep.
I hear this, it's just from certain pages and stuff I follow, and like how cutthroat it can be. You can run into like the coolest guys ever that'll be like, yeah, why don't you set up here with us and we'll hunt this together.
Yep.
And then there's other guys that are just pulling some shady stuff and just being
Shiesty.
yeah.
And that's why I like introducing, like, I like actually bringing new guys with me because I actually know where people won't be. And it's it's a lot of bit more work to get there.
Sure.
But at least I can introduce them in a nice fashion, not just
Right.
craziness.
Yeah, Luke.
We're all looking at you.
Keegan Gossel.
Just stick with the first names, buddy. Jesus.
Johnny, you are the crazy guy on public stay away. Haha.
I wish. These guys are shooting at birds about 300 yards up, and I'm like, what is going on?
But that's insane.
What's the one piece of advice you would give to somebody who wants to get into waterfalls, particularly like duck hunting and that? Like, would you suggest that they go with somebody, a guide or somebody more experienced first, or just, would it be okay just to throw themselves out into the mix and just see what happens?
I think it's great to have a mentor, and then it's great to hop on YouTube and search up how to do things, how to set decoys, how to call, how to do all that. Sit in your truck every day with your call and just practice. And like, that's the thing is like, you can go at your own pace, but I would say a mentor is pretty ideal because everybody's got their own idea. But if somebody's been doing it for a while, you know what?
Yeah.
They got a lot more ideas than you. and just don't be intimidated. Go out where there's not going to be as many people. Go out with somebody that knows what they're doing, especially with bird identification. And like, that's my biggest thing is like wood duck hunting or teal hunting, basically wood duck hunting for some people. I didn't even pull a trigger opening of teal because I couldn't identify them early in the morning. Where like, it's not worth the risk. You know what I mean? But if you didn't know, you'd be blasting the shit out of the wood ducks and it would not be good.
That's a bad time, Bob.
It's about, it's about educating before you even get out in the field. So my biggest advice would be go with a mentor, do your research on YouTube. There's some phenomenal people out there that have made awesome videos, and then just go out there and be in the field, and you're going to learn so much just being out there.
Having graduated from YouTube University and knowing I now know how to change the battery on my key fob. That is exciting.
What you got, Luke? There, save us.
Zach Anderson said, giveaway. I heard Johnny has some slick duck calls and a shirt from Midwest Rack and Rods. That would be a killer collaboration.
Oh, we can make something like that happen. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
I like where your head's at, kid.
Let's do it, Zach. I know you want that call.
Yeah, because I think that's like one of the biggest things is guys have interest in that, and I there's guys will just take a shotgun in that and walk through a marsh and stuff, and on their own or down a creek and stuff like that, and just kind of jump birds and without a dog. And how important is a dog?
Oh man, a good dog. There's a difference between
a dog and a good dog.
Sure.
Because a dog.
So a teddy bear's, you're saying?
Even a lab that isn't trained. I mean, to be honest, our lab that we have right now, she ain't the best, but she gets the job done. She's new. She's getting into it, but we love her. She's more of a house dog than a hunter. But when you got a hunting dog that listens, and when you pull that trigger, she ain't running out in front of you. And that's the biggest thing is I've seen a lot of guys have dogs run out and guys almost shoot the dog. You know what I mean? Just because people aren't paying attention, that dog runs like that and they're still shooting. So a good dog is going to listen. It's going to bring back the bird right to the blind and sit back down. We've had it many a times with our dog. We let her work. Every dog's got to learn. So, she goes out and retrieves a bird. We got birds still flying. So it's that whole thing of them flaring off the dog and everything else. But, you can't get mad. A dog's a dog, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it's as much work as you put into it.
Yeah.
And there's actually a pretty viral video. I don't know if you've seen that stuff going around about that guy beating the hell out of his dog.
No.
Oh, yeah. It's like crazy. It blew up about a month ago. Some dude, it came out, his buddy was recording it, and this dude was punching his dog because it wasn't retrieving. And it's like, dude, that's all on you.
Awful.
It's all on you. And it's just pathetic. I hate seeing that stuff. And a bunch of stuff came out. Even some different, it's just whack, man.
That's awful.
And it's all on you. It's you training the dog. It's not the dog's fault.
You should be punching yourself. I'm kicking my own ass.
Yeah, and what's so sad about it is that dog the next day is going to come back to you loving you.
Right,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
And
Like, it's
having
so
no
messed
idea what
up,
it even
dude.
did wrong.
Yeah, dude.
You know,
Like, it kills me to see that. So,
that's
like,
terrible.
just be patient with your dog. Take the time to train it, and it'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean, and that's something to think about. Like, if you want to, and I'm not trying to discourage anybody from getting into waterfowl hunting or duck hunting specifically in that. There's a lot of things. You know, you're talking about a boat. You're talking about decoys. You're talking about having a good shotgun. Taking the time to practice in that. Having a dog. All these things. You know, it's not just something you can just pick up. Just like that, and just go out on a whim, like, oh, I bought this boat, and you know,
Right.
I got 6 decoys, I'm going out. Sure, you could, you know, but
Yep.
you're gonna struggle with that. It's a lifestyle in itself. I mean, it's a commitment if you really, really want to get into it. Again, not to discourage anybody,
Yeah.
but it's something you want to get into. Start out, like Johnny said, get yourself, go out with a guide or find a mentor.
Yeah.
And that
Acclimate
go out,
yourself, too.
you know, and learn the ins and outs. You know, or get yourself in, you know, maybe you can find a group of guys that already are. They're looking to bring somebody else in, or you know,
Absolutely. Hit
things
me
like
up.
that.
Hit me up if you're from Wisconsin area. Come on out with me.
Yeah.
I'm all about it. Like,
drop them,
awesome.
Johnny.
you know what I mean? Just come on out. I don't care. Like, I'm all about it. You know.
What would you say the level of what is the level of duck hunters out there? I mean, are the marshes overcrowded, or is it they only overcrowded in certain areas? You know, how would you equate that?
Early
all?
season, no matter where you go, unless you got private, it's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be a lot of people. I mean, unless you know about
Guys are going to be camping out overnight.
Oh
in
yeah.
their
I mean, we
boats.
camped out overnight for Northern Opener. There was at least 100 groups on that lake, Northern Opener, and there is not that many places on that lake.
Sure.
80% of that lake, the actual frontage of the lake, is just public land. Like, nobody lives on it, dude. It was nuts. It sounded like a civil war out there. It was nuts. But then Southern Opener is even crazier. So, I mean, that's the thing. So you get the opener. After opener, things die down. And then usually, you know, you get your fair weather hunters. And come November, it gets cold. People don't want to get cold, you know, and then it all mixes, you know. Like, guys that deer hunt, they usually duck hunt, you know, the first 2 weekends maybe. And then the two openers.
Because it's too warm to be in a tree stand.
Exactly.
Many mosquitoes.
And they can still bang stuff up, and then all of a sudden they hit that grind, you know, of just out there deer hunting and getting after it. So,
Sure.
yeah, I would say, you know, early season is going to be a cluster, but
And that's kind of what I've always heard is that it starts to taper down as the season kind of progresses in that. But you do have guys that are just diehard duck hunters in that, and, you know, very, very little deer hunting. And then you got the guys that are diehard deer hunters, and they'll get out and do a little duck hunting.
Yep.
You know, but it's hard, you know, to make that commitment and, you know, both things full on when they're overlapping each other like that.
It's almost
you know
impossible.
What I mean? It's like, well, and also, I'd also like to do a little fall turkey hunting.
Right.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't do anything other than hunting 24 hours a day. Well, maybe not 24 hours a day, but
Right.
7 days a week
That's
anyways.
dedicated, like you read about, to your craft, right?
Yep.
So, what's your favorite waterfowl to like? If you had to pick one, right?
Man, you're putting me on the spot. I would say
Come on, Johnny. This isn't your first
there is
rodeo.
nothing better than that last weekend of duck hunting, and you're smashing like massive mallards. So that kind of hunting here in Wisconsin is my absolute favorite. It's glorious. I love it. But I will say, North Dakota, going out there sitting in a field and having over 5,000 birds circling, and it looks like a black tornado is the most.
So you're talking
insane-
Canadian?
No, mallards.
Oh, mallards out there.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, 5,000, dude, just circling down. Like it looks like a tornado, and you're like, oh my god, where do I aim? Like first few times you shoot at something like that, you ain't aiming. You're just pulling the trigger at that point.
right.
But it is so amazing to see him come from a mile up and come right down. It's just so crazy.
That has to be wild. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how to compare it. I guess to deer hunting, it's like having 180. You know, walking out in front of you, man. It's like, holy
I wouldn't know what that's
shit.
like.
Is there a particular species of duck though? I mean, that's what you would say it would be that later season mallard.
Yeah, like the big fat mallards from Canada. I love smoking those because I mean they're hardy birds, man.
Oh, and it's
It
a
takes
beautiful
lot.
duck.
Oh,
I
dude,
mean,
they're
it's
just fully
gorgeous.
plumed. But I mean, I would love to say pintails, but I haven't been lucky enough to shoot a fully sprigged out, like where they got the long tail on them, sprigged out, like pintails like that. But I mean, if I can mash those all the time, I would love it.
Right. Absolutely.
So what about goose hunting?
Oh, goose hunting. I mean, I've gotten into it. I like it, but it's a lot of private land hustle.
Now it's a whole nother thing.
And that's the thing is like having all the field decoys. I don't have them. My buddies are gracious enough. They're awesome. They're like, dude, take the trailer whenever you want. And I'm like so blessed that way.
Trailer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Fully decked out.
you're talking dozens and dozens.
Like 15, 20 dozen decoys, layout blinds.
Fancy move.
For real.
Everything. My boys hook me up all the time. They're like, whenever you want, just let us know when to show up. And I'm like, I'm so blessed that way. So
Yeah.
Yeah, Luke.
There's a question from Adele Jewel.
Holy
Adele Jewel, that's my old lady.
Is Berkeley a good dog? Molly is the best.
Berkeley is, he hunts coyotes, I think. He runs in the backyard and runs through the woods and comes back about an hour later. So,
love that.
yeah, it's
That's
cool
good.
until he rolls in something he's not supposed to roll in and then I got to wash.
Raccoon shit.
Yeah, that's usually what happens.
Which is just rank.
oh, dude, it's
God.
bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
I don't know why they do it, man.
I don't know either.
They
but
just love it.
I had a black lab once that did
Coyote
that.
shit.
Holy
Yeah,
crap. I mean, that was the worst.
There must have been a doe that like had babies in the backyard. There's like a lot of marsh grass and
I was dog sitting for our producer there, Luke's dog, and he did that shit in our backyard. She did, and not he, Luke. She, Leia, his dog.
Oh, I thought Luke did.
Yeah.
I tested.
She,
Oh, little egg roll.
not 10 minutes
oh man.
into the dog sitting in that, and that dog's in the freaking bathtub, and it's a Great Pyrenees.
Oh no.
Yeah, throw that big long-haired white
But
monstrosity.
you had
in your bathtub.
no coyotes in your backyard.
Not the rest of the day, anyways. It's when you're talking hunting geese and hunting ducks, it's both waterfowl hunting.
Yep.
But when you're talking cost, again, too, between the amount, and when he says dozens of dozen decoys,
We're talking like
well over 100 decoys.
tens of thousands of dollars
Right.
if you want to really get after it and spend on the right stuff. I mean,
And then your
it
blinds.
can get crazy. I mean, that's the thing is like goose hunting to me, you can, I feel like me personally, tell me if I'm wrong, people, but I feel like it's easier to track down geese. It's harder to get permission though. So you got to get in. But if you can get in, like
I've heard
Nick's
that.
awesome. He
I've heard
gets
that.
in and he's great. He does a great job, but it's really easy to track him. Once you get him in your field, you can toast him. Where duck hunting gets a little interesting. You
Yeah,
gotta
Nick's already
coax him.
done well already.
Oh, Nick is a slayer, dude. He's an awesome man.
When I worked with him at WM, it was so funny because there was a farmer's field all of like a block away from where our office was.
Yeah.
And that morning there was just thousands of geese in that field. He's like, I'm taking my lunch break. I'm going over there and I'm gonna get permission. I'm gonna get permission. He comes back and I was like, how did it go? He's like, not too great, but I think I can still wear him down. So like the next week he went back. He like just kept, I don't want to say pestering him, but like, oh, let me take care of this for you. Like
Yeah. No, dude. I mean,
sure enough, like a month later, he was out there freaking hunting geese in that field right off of WM property. I mean, like, dude is dedicated like you read about. When it comes to that.
He's a real thing. I mean,
right.
Nick Slaughters. I look
sure.
up to him for it because I mean that dude really gets after it. He's awesome for it. But yeah, it's hard to get permission, man. I've had fucking shotguns pulled out on me. Like, who the fuck are you?
Are you
Get off my land.
serious?
Dude? Yeah, there's some nutsos out there, man.
Oh, well, you don't have to tell me more about that. God, people are crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think right now is a good time. We're going to go ahead and take a quick intermission here.
I like that.
And then we are going to talk to Johnny a little bit more and transition a little bit more into the buck side of the duck and buck. We're in it,
Let's
folks.
talk a little bit of bucks.
So, all right, we'll be right back, folks. Stick with us.
We'll be back in 2 and 2.
What is an eponym? A person after whom a discovery, invention, or place is named or thought to be named. There are very few eponyms in the hunting industry. A product so popular and so functional, it becomes the act of the product. So how does something become an eponym? It's the best, hands down.
All right, folks, we're back. Thanks
We
for sticking
are
with
back.
us. And we are back.
Time for a little wrap around.
Yeah.
Wrap it around, Johnny.
I can't. This shoulder's
Well, then
no
use
good.
that one.
Oh, I got this in my way over here.
Oh, my God.
Luke's doing one. He's just wrapping it around. Thanks for sticking with us, guys. We're sitting
gals.
here with, well, that goes without saying.
Sure.
When I say guys, I mean, that's kind of like
You guys.
You guys.
Come on,
Everybody.
you guys.
Everybody.
This is the gabagool.
You guys, you gals. Well, he's got the Sopranos glass right here. That's right. He's been drinking bourbon out of Family Redefined.
What does that even mean?
No, it's Sopranos. But yeah, so I don't know what Luke. What?
You said we had questions, and one popped up.
Oh, okay.
All right,
here we go.
Just pop in and say it then.
Making these hand gestures.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
like,
know
well,
what
I
he's
don't know what
doing.
he's doing. He's like, yeah. He's like, I was like, he's trying to explain what that means, what the Sopranos glass means.
Sorry, I'm a goddamn gentleman.
Well, that's one way of looking at it, but
Mike M. Good question. What are some techniques on getting permission to hunt private land?
That is
well, that's a
really-
twofold. I mean, that can go for both for deer hunting and for
duck.
our duck, but we haven't transitioned into the buck part. We're still in the duck part.
Yeah, I
So
would
what would
say
you say?
the biggest thing, the absolute biggest thing is do not go during dinner time. If he's at the dinner table after a long day in the field, you are going to piss him off.
Oh, yeah.
Do not. If you see him in the field working, not a bad time to stop. So I would say when he's in the field working, he's out there doing it. But when you get like
Or
that,
out around the barn area, you know, where he's out.
You see him, he's out. That's the best time to hit him up. But when he's having his meal of the day and he is finally
That's a
relaxing,
no-go.
hell no. Nighttime, horrible idea. So I would say when he's in the field or working, or,
Probably in the morning, actually, would be best if you can catch him in the
and
morning.
that's the hard thing is like, we're all working usually in the morning.
Right.
So I would say right after work, like if you can get there 3:30, you're all right. But like 4:30 past is kind of like you're risking the biscuit
Sketch.
there.
Yeah.
And what you want to do too, I would say, is offer something in return.
Like a breakfast burrito.
Yeah, there you go.
Not that so much. No. From like Quick Trip, right? I mean, who doesn't like that?
Here's a burrito, boy. Let me hunt your land. No, I would.
It's extra spicy.
I would say just be like, hey, if you ever need help too, my boys will come out and help you. I see you guys got hay up in that other field. When you start bailing that, give us a call. We'll help you out. And that to them is huge. I mean,
free labor.
You trade labor for instead of paying money. And some farmers, even out in North Dakota, like we've had to pay them. I mean,
Sure.
I mean, it is what it is. They get pestered quite a bit, but I mean, we've gotten in with some amazing people.
But
Yeah, I
that's
think
legit.
we're at a point in time here where it's like these guys recognize, like, look, I can get a little chunk of change here,
Yep.
and that these guys are, if they really want to hunt my fields,
Yep.
they'll pony up some money.
Yep.
And look, let's face it, farmers are struggling.
Oh,
I mean,
for sure.
your independent farmers that aren't, corporate and
Yeah,
that.
if they're not huge, it's hard, man.
So yeah, I would say throw out that option, start out with the labor thing and that, we're willing to do some manual labor. If you're not willing to do some manual labor, then expect to maybe pony up some cash.
Right.
or
And that.
something, and
And
one-
like-
yeah.
And
once
just
you-
see, just float it out there and see what they have to say. Because at the end of the day, if you're laying out in a cut cornfield
Yep.
shooting geese, what is it really hurting the farmer?
Yeah, it's not.
But I think it's only fair to
I think
the biggest, offer something.
Right. Exalt the farmer.
The biggest thing is that the problem is why farmers don't allow people is because they mess up their land. They drive through it when it's wet and they don't get it. Mm-hmm. And then they leave shells all over, and they're shooting at the farm, all these different factors. Even if, like, let's say there's 3 groups that get permission. I used to sleep out in Belgium all the time to make sure we had the field. And guys would show up at 4:00 and be like, hey, we got permission to this. Well, we're like, come hunt with us. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Yeah. We're all here for the same thing. I don't care. Some guys would be like, no, I'm going to set up on the other side of the field. Well, arguments came about and whatnot and everything else. The birds are swinging, they're shooting. It's a mess.
And then somebody goes and cries to the landowner, and he's like,
people.
And he's like, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah,
about your crap. Like,
about that.
Screw it. Yep. You guys can all kick rocks and get off my property.
So the biggest thing is
that's the issue.
Once you get it, don't make the farmer feel used. Call them every once in a while. The farmers are lonely, man. They got nobody to really talk to.
Yeah.
They come home.
Let's not stereotype all farmers.
I guess not all, but you know what I mean. Give them a call every once in a while. Let them know. Be like, hey, what's up?
What you got, Luke?
All right. 2 things. One, Connor Goslinski. North Dakota farms.
What do I say about last names?
Love cheese.
That is true.
And then that question from Kayak Mike: have you ever tried sending letters to landowners?
That is one thing I have not done.
I know guys that do that with hunting. I think it's impersonal.
Yeah.
I think
it's hard.
Do you think a farmer's gonna a letter is gonna write a letter back or an email? Like, let's say somehow or another you get an email address or something like that.
Yeah.
Like amongst all of his other shit he's got to deal with. I'm like, oh, here, let me sit down here at the old the old corkboard freaking desk here I got. And with the desktop computer and on the old email system here.
And I would say even is them picking up their phones, they could care less about their phone for the most part. You know what I mean? They try to stay off of that. So
yeah, they're busy. They're working their asses off. I think if you can't do it in person, I think we live in this day and age, especially your generation, being younger in that. You guys, I think, are a little more uncomfortable. And I'm not talking about you specifically. I'm talking about your generation.
Our generation is.
You don't even like to talk on the phone. You like to communicate through text message.
That's crazy, dude.
I hate text with a goddamn passion.
I like to talk on the phone. I would rather talk to somebody in person.
Please.
But I think as time goes on, you build this anxiety up. Like society as a whole has built some sort of weird anxiety that we have when it comes to talking on the phone or talking to people in person. Because we're so used to communicating through Messenger and text messages.
Keyboard
and
warriors.
And things like that. Where it's like, I have to talk to an actual human being face to face. How do I do that? You know what I mean? Luke, what'd you got?
Keegan said it's kind of like sending a text to break up with someone. So he must be
it's just not
part of
go about
that generation.
Right,
right.
That's good. Yes, sir.
It's probably not a good idea. It's not the most respectful way of going
really
about
isn't.
things. Like, I feel like farmers, yes, certainly there's younger farmers out there today that are very much in tune with social media and using smartphones and things like that. I'm not trying to say, they're all every farmer out there is 70 years old. And I'm not trying to say that at all. What I'm getting at is there's just something about that lifestyle, that country life, and that where I think that there's, they were raised a certain way, and a face-to-face and a handshake and a look in the eyes,
absolutely,
goes a lot further. And when you're offering up, not to imply that you need any help, sir, but if there's anything you could use some manual labor help with, like fixing a fence line or something that, me and my boys, we can do that for you.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing is you think about it. The land you were going to hunt on is their livelihood.
Exactly.
It's everything they got right there and then. So you got to respect it.
And it could be
You gotta treat it
generational.
amazingly, and you got to ask, how can I help you?
Right. Take that and apply it to your life.
Yep.
Right. Somebody approaches you and wants to, I don't want to say impose, but I mean, that's kind of what it is, right? An imposition on your livelihood. How are you going to be receptive to that? Is it via text or a letter via, coming from the postal
Shit would
carrier?
go right in the garbage.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
But I come
know?
up to you face to face and be like, look, this is what I'm here for, but I can also help.
Yep.
Offer that up.
I can't imagine a single farmer out there that would actually take the time to respond to a text message for permission. Out there, like, you even imagine? And if it would, I would tell you how that response is probably going to go.
It's a long text.
95%. It's going to be, why don't you go and
Pound sand down a rat's hole.
There you go. That's the keep us from getting
PG a little
keeping us
bit.
PG. Yes, Luke.
We got two good tips here on the talk and text line. Andrew Weniger, I think, with a good one. Sometimes we offer farmers venison sticks and beer,
Yes,
usually,
absolutely.
or any booze that they would happen to like. And then Kayak Mike is out in Washington State. He said the landowners aren't hip on unannounced visitors. Catch them outside, make a few passes, and talk to them outside of their own land.
Love it, man.
Kayak Mike, I'm starting to think, might be Mike Mason.
Yes, it's 100%.
That's our boy.
That's 100%.
Mike, we love you. You are the best. You are the best freaking supporter.
I think he makes a good point, though, too. It depends on where you're at. You kind of got to know. I mean, here in the Midwest, folks are Midwest nice. Out on the West Coast and East Coast,
It's different.
it might be different the way you need to approach things.
And,
we don't have a plethora of meth heads knocking on farmers' doors. I'm sorry to say, but we just don't. Meth head wants
But,
to
even in North
shoot a goose out into my field.
Yeah, exactly. In North Dakota, it's cool because everybody, in the town we hunt, it's one restaurant and one bar.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yes.
start talking.
Yeah.
You start talking, and everybody knows everybody. And as soon as you meet that one guy, you got ins. You know what I mean? And you treat them like crazy.
Royalty, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Because we're being able to hunt their land they farm every year.
So where do you go hunting out there? No, you don't gotta get very specific.
I would say it's more towards the north.
Don't be.
Don't do it.
Northeastern side of the state.
Let me ask you this then instead.
It doesn't really matter. Everybody's
what
going
got
out
you
there.
out there?
I was blessed by. So I was bartending at Wall Six Supper Club,
Yeah, okay.
and all suddenly these guys came up there talking about going to North Dakota. I'm like, dude, that's my dream. I would
Yes.
love to go out there.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, we just had somebody back out. We're leaving in 2 weeks. I said, I don't care if I get fired. I'm coming. I said, I'm coming. I'll tell my boss right now. I texted him. He's like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, I'm going. And
Right.
Nathan and good old Rick and everybody else brought me out there. And man, Nathan Toyish, you guys know him.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So that whole crew of boys brought me out there and took me under they took me under their wing, and I went out there
Their
with them.
waterfall wing.
Yeah, dude, I'm so blessed. Like, seriously, without those guys, I would never be able to experience what I
That's
experienced.
so cool.
So blessed.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
Got another question from Nick in the Dodge Ram. What size buck is your maybe kind of deer? 120, 130, 140.
I don't understand the question.
What's your I don't know if I'm going to shoot it or not point? 60?
I'll effing shoot anything. I don't care. They all taste so good. Yeah.
I mean, look at what some of the bucks that
Right.
I've killed here that are hanging right here. I've got no problems with 120s at all.
Yeah, for the land we hunt, it's one of those things.
Like I know the deer, and if it's 3.5, and I'm happy with that buck, absolutely. Do I outside of this? Do I have over 130, 140. Yep, I do. And that, I mean, this is just right here, but I've killed these deer right here, and I'm very happy with them.
Absolutely. It's all on the hunter.
I feel like once it hits 3.5 for me, game on.
Yep.
So that's me.
What would you say?
Everybody's different.
They're delicious. That's what they are.
Heck yeah,
I mean, that's the biggest buck I've killed.
dude.
Right.
And I mean, you take pride in that. You love it.
I love that. I love that.
And that's
deer.
what it's all about, you know. And I get it. Some people are big horn hunters. Some people are like, hey,
not.
brown it's down. Some people are in between. And you know what?
I'm an in-betweener.
hunter, and every hunter, it's respectable. You're out there doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're respecting the game and you're using it for what it's worth.
Yes.
That's all that matters to me.
That truly, I mean, that should be number one, in my opinion.
Yep.
And that's not to begrudge anybody that is maybe a horn hunter.
Yeah,
right?
no big deal.
If that's your thing, great. But then don't shit on my parade if I'm going to shoot that, or I'm going to shoot a doe, or
Yeah.
my main goal.
right.
My main goal every deer season is to fill the freezer. Period. That's mine. And that.
What always gets me though is that guys that will kill deer in that and leave them at the processor, and not pick them up.
What? Hold on a second.
Like
You're literally telling me something new.
I've been hearing more and more stories of this kind of stuff.
Are you
like,
freaking kidding me?
like that makes no sense to me.
That's
like,
disgusting.
quite honestly, it's here in Wisconsin that's considered wanted waste, and that and the DNR, like that processor can contact the DNR and be like,
Which I know Chris had an issue with, which was complete BS
Right.
because he wanted the deer
right.
and they kept screwing him over, and then they go and report him. I mean,
Yeah, I
we
don't
don't need to
remember
get
how-
into semantics.
I don't
of-
remember
of
how the story
everything.
went, but it was something like he went to get the deer like
Like,
multiple
it's not
times.
ready.
It's not ready. And then, well, let me know when it's ready. And then as soon as it's ready, then they report him to the DNR, kind of a thing.
It's like,
He's like, I've been trying to get my
trying
deer.
to
I've been
get the
waiting
deer."
forever to get the sausage in that back. But
that's
Yes.
insane.
We got a comment here from Seth Oren. I once had a friend say it's the experience that makes it a trophy.
yes,
We hunted on an island in northwest Wisconsin a few years ago. We all punched tags opening day. It was unforgettable.
Absolutely.
That is a great comment. It is, yes, it is the experience that makes a trophy.
Seth,
100%.
Seth is spot on. So like he actually
I'll drink
took me
to that.
out to Idaho to shoot my black bear that I shot out there. It's a color phase, and he is by far the guy to experience stuff with. He owns Deep Fork Rentals, and they do a phenomenal job. So like if you go out west or want to go on a big trip, you rent basically a package per day. It costs you. So it's got your spotting scope, your tent, your binocs, everything. So instead of having to buy like $10,000 worth of stuff, you rent it for $600, $700, $800 a week.
That is a really cool idea. That
I'm
is
telling
awesome.
you, if he's back in Wisconsin, you guys should have him on because
Oh, yeah.
it is a stellar, like it is a genius idea, and it helps.
Hit us up, Seth.
It helps hunters.
Have you on?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it helps hunters get out there and do it for such a cheaper cost.
Right,
There's
yeah.
no way I could afford spending $10K on all the gear to go out there and pack out a bear.
Right.
And he blessed me with being able to go out there, and he's way more athletic than me. Dude, I was dying in those mountains, man. I was dying. Dude.
you're 24, Johnny. You're
He's
24.
huffing. I know, but he was huffing. I was dying.
Yeah,
I still can't get
that is
over the
really cool.
fact that there are literally people that will leave their deer at the processor.
Right.
Yeah, that's nuts, man.
I mean, my whole thing is I would just hope that the processor would just donate it then,
Right.
you know, like to Hunting for the Hungry or whatever,
Yep.
whatever local food pantry and stuff like that they have. And I've got no problem. I know guys that like will straight up. I've done it before. I've killed deer for Hunting for the Hungry and that. I typically don't do that so much anymore. Only for the sole fact, and I mean, and I'm basing this off of very loose information that I've heard things that in certain food pantries that ground venison meat and that is the last stuff to like come off the shelf. like in food pantries.
So on
and this is only, again, this is just hearsay. I would actually I've been meaning to like do some more research on this to find out. I don't think this is like that everywhere, but like I've heard this on multiple occasions that it's the venison that sits, because if you're not used to it, you live in an urban area.
Sure.
And that, yes, venison tastes different than beef.
But then, I sit on the board of directors for the Menominee Falls Area Food Pantry.
Yep.
And
oh yeah, that's right.
And I told them, I said, if I'm blessed enough to get 2 deer, 1 deer is going to be processed and donated to the pantry. Unfortunately, I was only able to get just enough to fill my freezer. So I wasn't able to make that happen. But there is actually a great need for that. And, just speaking on the Falls Food Pantry, venison is actually sought for at that pantry.
Well, maybe things are changing, hopefully. I mean,
but then that might not be for every pantry, but I can just speak on that one that they're like, it's too bad. Hopefully next year. And I'm like, well, yeah, hopefully I hope I can fulfill that.
I think there's a fine line there though with that as well, because I think you're going to have a number of hunters that are going to be maybe against that, and that guys are just going to go out there and fill all 7 tags they have.
Yep.
Because depending upon where you are in the state, I mean, there's an obnoxious amount of antlerless deer
down
tags.
Here you can get antlerless tags left and right on the
Exactly.
farms.
Right.
I mean, and the ones they just give away just with your general license, that doesn't even include buying additional bonus tags.
Yep.
That's going to rub some guys the wrong way. I think it depends on where you're hunting and the property you're hunting, and what you want your buck to doe ratio to be is really, really important. I know there's guys that are like, I want to see 40 does out in that alfalfa field. I'm like, well, you're not going to have a very exciting rut hunt. I can tell you that right now. I mean, your rut hunt is going to kind of suck.
Right. Yeah.
You want to have that lower buck to doe ratio where it's, 3 to 1, 2 to 1. In some cases, guys are talking 1 to 1, which I think is a little extreme.
Right.
In that, but
does it get to a point where if you got all the does, does it keep the bucks? Like, I've heard so many arguments about every side of that. Like, some people, like literally in Buffalo County, I know some people, they keep the does around because they know the bucks are going to come for them. Mm-hmm. So it's like, where's that point of like making them chase enough to not making them chase? You know what I mean?
Right. But if a buck has all of his options right there, and he's going to spend multiple days with this doe, multiple days with that doe, and then that doe, where's this buck going to move? He's not going to move at all. He's just going to go from one to one to one to one. And I think that's what it is.
Right.
You're not going to get that chasing and seeking,
finding a new doe and
if you know for a fact that these deer are staying on your property, these does are, and you have enough, and your property's large enough.
Yep.
I'm not talking 200 acres. I'm talking like over 1,000 acres.
Yep.
Like if you're able to do that, yeah, you might have some success if you know where on that property that doe and buck are going to be.
Yep.
And what doe is hot, and that, I think there's ways to do it, but I think there's definitely something to be said about, making sure that ratio is dialed in a little bit, at least for your area.
Yeah, for sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So Nick said he hunts for the meat. He's also blessed. He gets a mule deer and antelope tags in Wyoming, so that his limit is with the freezer, but then he gets to be picky and trophy hunt in Wisconsin.
Love that.
That's cool.
Sure.
That is very awesome.
Man, I have not shot a muley yet. And actually next year we're going out to Idaho. Seth is going to hook us up with some different spots. And I'm going to take my dad and possibly one of my brothers out there and shoot some muleys.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. Have you guys gone out muley deer hunting?
No, I've not. No, but it's
Shit.
I know
It's
it's,
some-
on your list.
Come on, let's go.
I want to do a multi-species. I'm going to get a multi-species tag for out
cool.
west and that, where I got the option of either doing a whitetail or a muley. I don't know. I'm such a diehard whitetail guy in that. Like, I would like to cross it off the bucket list
Yep.
for sure. And maybe actually when I go out there, it'll be a different story. And my mind might shift. I'll be like, oh, mule deer is where it's at.
Yep. That's just
But
the thing.
I have a hard time believing that I'm ever going to find anything, you know. I don't, yes, at some point I would love to go do some elk hunting out west and that.
Yes. Yeah.
Dude, personal opinion.
That's my dream, man.
Personal opinion coming out. Once you get in those mountains, you leave, they call you back.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
That's what I hear.
You're walking up
100%
straight
what I
up,
hear.
dude.
Mm-hmm.
And you look back after you take a little break and you're like, wow, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Right.
Literally before I shot my bear, me and Seth were sitting there looking at this pine tree. It would take 4 or 5 of me to wrap around my arms around this thing. And we're like, wow, God is great, man. This is like God given right here, man.
Yes.
And I take 2
That's what it's all
steps
about.
and I just got this urge. I look to my left, it's standing there.
No way.
200 yards away, and I chased after that fucker and shot him. Yeah, it was just
That's
crazy.
awesome.
But like, you know, it was the last day, last hour of hunting.
Yes.
And that's when we got it. It was just such a blessing, man.
Yeah.
And it's a grind. And I think that's what makes it so special is how hard it really is.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you get something, you really do appreciate it. And I'm not saying whitetail hunting here in Wisconsin isn't hard. It is hard.
It is.
a
Yeah.
It's
grind.
hard wherever you are, wherever you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
I had a
But
buddy
yeah,
go out.
it is two different things. It's comparing apples to oranges.
Yeah, but once you get out there, you'll understand too a little bit more because I didn't get it, and then I got it, and I'm like, oh shit, I want to go.
Well, and
4
it seems
times a
like
year.
it's just like a whole. It's just a different beast to it, right? I had a buddy that went out west on an elk hunt, and you know, his friend of his, they were army buddies, right? And his dad could no longer go, so he brought his friend from here, my buddy.
Yep.
Went out there, and here they are. They're trekking through the mountains and not coming across anything. And then all of a sudden, there's this hunter sprinting towards them down this hill. Right? Like they're like, uh-oh, did we not read the map right? Are we on not where we should be?
Yeah.
No, and this guy's like, dude, they're bugling over here. You know, why don't you guys go set up over here? I'm gonna call them towards you. Like,
What?
right? Like
That's
totally
awesome.
random. You know, and
I know.
so
I remember you telling me this story. This
he
is
goes
crazy.
sprinting back off, and sure enough, he calls in this beautiful bull, and my buddy shoots him.
It's like a 5x5 or something.
Oh my god, yeah, 5x5, just gorgeous, freaking quarters them out, you know, pack them out, whatever. Guy comes running back down. He's like, "Oh yeah, awesome, you got it right. I'm gonna go hunt over here now. See you guys later." And he just takes off running again.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the hell? Like,
Just
who is
a
this guy?
madman.
Just like some angel, you know? Fast forward to they get into town, you know, and they're getting some booze to celebrate that night. Guess who rolls up with a freaking bull?
No
Yeah,
way.
same dude. So they invite him back to camp, and they partied it up all night. And the guy was just a local.
Yep.
You know, he's like,
Yep.
I just want to see out, you know, people out here succeed, and I want to help them. And
That's so cool.
I'm like,
That's
that's
crazy.
what it's all about.
Absolutely.
That's what it should be all about.
Turns out it was an episode of Highway to Heaven.
Michael Landis? Did I get the name right?
Michael Landon.
Yeah, Atlanta. Yeah, I don't know. No more questions. I mean, that is really cool.
Oh, dude, to help out other hunters, especially in that situation, is so cool.
I've been on out of state hunts and stuff, and like ran into guys and helped them track their buck and stuff, and that, and then just to make these connections. Friends with a couple of these guys to this day. You know, 8-9 years later.
Yeah.
Friends on Facebook and that, and we're like, oh, it's your anniversary, happy anniversary. You know,
Dude, that's so cool.
like you make these connections. Out
That doesn't
there.
surprise me one bit coming from you, because you have evolved to a point. I mean, early on, like you still are very much dedicated to your craft and deer hunting or any kind of hunting, fishing, whatever it is. But you've evolved to the point where you are so excited when you see other people succeed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is a cool
and-
thing. Both of you guys. I mean,
That happens
you
as you
bring
get
people
older.
on, just the conversations you have. I love just seeing that in the hunting community in general.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What you got, bud?
Got a question for the group here. Nick in the Dodge Ram. Would you rather do an Alaskan caribou hunt or an African big game hunt?
I'll answer that. I'm gonna go Alaskan. Believe it or not, that's more my jam than African safari.
You know what? For me personally, I think, okay, so people are like, oh, yeah, you go to Africa, you're just butchering all these animals that are protected. Blah, blah, blah.
No.
So, like, my
No,
biggest
it's not
thing
that.
is, you know what would be cool? You shoot those animals and you feed those villages.
Right.
Dude,
And that's what it is,
to
right?
me, that would be so cool to be like, yeah, I killed those animals, and they're literally sitting here cooking it,
Right.
and eating it up, loving it, and it's protecting them. Like there's like the baboons and stuff out there. They're so invasive. They actually
Yeah.
harm and raid villages. Like it's horrible out there. And like to be able to do that would be really, really cool. And just to see their faces and make a difference. I'm all about making a difference, I guess. So, but
I already get that vibe. There's no question about it.
I think I personally have never had this drive to go to Africa
yeah,
and that.
gotta get 96 shots probably.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like all the
yeah.
crazy diseases.
Yellow fever.
Yeah, right.
Ebola. I think it would be really cool. It would be a cool thing to experience. But I think if I had to go, if it was caribou in Alaska, a caribou hunt to me isn't very exciting. I know guys that have gone on multiple caribou hunts and stuff, and I don't want to say it's not tough. It's just not the kind of hunt that would be really fulfilling for me. You know, based on the things I've heard.
Yep.
It's kind of almost. I don't want to say this in the wrong way, but almost like shooting fish in a barrel kind of a thing. And I know it's not that easy, you know, but it's not your
hard.
traditional kind of hunt, you know.
The grind of
Whereas
And even
like,
Africa would be probably the same thing a little bit, I would think.
yeah,
You know,
right.
like,
I mean,
you go
I
to
think
water
it
and
would
they're gonna
probably
come
be
there.
somewhat comparable in
It's a good question.
some. It is.
It is. I
And
was thinking more along the lines of like the landscape.
Dude, that's
right?
what I was just going to
Well,
say,
right.
The
too.
beauty
Well,
of
Alaska-
Alaska is
Beauty of Alaska, beauty
Yeah.
of Africa. I mean,
Could be.
two very vastly different landscapes for sure, and climate. I don't know.
That's a hard
I
one.
guess you know what I probably, to be honest, I think I would in that case. If I was like, all right, you can go to Alaska for caribou, you can go to Africa for whatever,
yeah,
hoodoo.
right, yeah.
I mean, usually when you go over there, I mean, you can get multi-species license
all
and
different
there's
types
all
of
sorts
stuff.
of things.
Water buffalo.
Yeah, no,
all that crazy stuff.
I would do Africa in that case.
So when we going?
If I could go to if I could do a moose hunt
Oh, shit, yeah.
or Africa, I'm doing moose hunt.
Yeah, moose would be.
Dude, the one thing I want to kill
If I could do New Zealand red stag
Oh, dude.
or Africa, I'm doing
Joel
New Zealand.
Cleefish
Zealand.
did that out there, man. That's sick.
Yeah, I would do red stag.
Oh yeah,
I'd do stag
absolutely.
hunt, yeah.
Not to mention New Zealand in of itself
Right, just
is
being in New Zealand.
freaking.
What do you think your dream hunt is? Like, if you could pick
God.
one thing.
Yeah, I've actually
Stop.
I've
Come on, come on, come on.
That was
It's
my next question. What are you doing?
Oh, sorry. I'm not hosting.
stepping on the co-host feed here.
Oh, no. Go ahead. Ask the question.
Dream hunt? No, yeah, you could probably touch on that better than I can.
Yeah, I think I've said this before. It would be New Zealand.
Yeah.
It would be for red stag with archery equipment. Yeah.
Dude, that'd be so sick.
All of the different turkey species and
Grand Slam, eh?
Get the Grand Slam.
That would be cool.
That would be. I freaking love
Yeah.
turkey hunting so damn much. It's not even funny.
It is. It's an exhilarating experience. I want to shoot a grizzly with a bow. That imagery.
With a
I want to get it in within 15 yards and shoot that.
Oh my God.
I want it, dude.
Dude, you're a freaking wild man.
Dude, I jumped out of an airplane before. Now I'm like, yeah, this is the next thing. I gotta shoot. I gotta shoot a grizzly. That's what I want to do.
I know. Pardon me that I'm just weird like that. Like I'm just not a big predator hunter.
That does surprise me.
They're so unpredictable, man. It is,
and
wicked.
it's not for fear, not for
it's
anything
definitely
like that.
not for fear from you.
It's just I don't know. I just
fear for
don't.
me,
I don't have that drive to be a predator hunter. In that, like because I feel like I look at them as an equal, you know, in some ways.
Yeah, I hear
Like,
you.
I'm the predator.
Yep.
You're the predator. We're the predators. And that, like, I don't know. Like, I don't care about killing a coyote or anything like that.
Yeah, no.
But, like, I don't know. A mountain lion, it's just, I don't know. I don't have that, like, oh, I would love to kill a mountain lion.
No, I
would really love to kill a grizzly bear in that. I just don't have that.
Lion, actually.
yeah, no, everybody's different. You know what I mean? So that's cool.
But, yeah, everybody is.
Yeah.
I like the hooving claw. Shallow hell. Here, I told you guys we'd get off the rails here at some point.
Real quick.
But anyways, I know we're getting a little late on time here.
Are we?
So what do you got? When are you getting out in the deer woods? I mean, as a waterfowl hunter,
Yeah.
For you, when is it usually that kind of crossover time? Or
So what I would say is, so this weekend's Southern Opener here in Wisconsin, and I'll be out there duck hunting next weekend.
weird. That's so weird.
It's so weird. And then I'll be out next weekend. I got a wedding, so I might go out in the deer stand then. So basically, like, I know that buck's going to be around early season. I've seen him the past two.
Oh yeah,
two
when you
years.
show me the picture.
Yeah, I've seen him the past 2 years. So realistically, next weekend I'd like to be out in the deer blind or the deer stand, and then the weekend after that, and then after that I'll be out in Colorado and then North Dakota.
So what idiot friend of yours is getting married?
It's actually Colton. He commented on here, you little rascal.
What a loser!
Hey, just hear me out. Hear me out. It ain't his fault.
We're just messing with you, bro.
Yeah, we love you.
Yeah. Colton, you're not alone. What kind of idiot plans a bachelor party when he's getting married in March at the end of September? What a loser!
I was told
God.
the dates were passed around and these were thumbs up.
I never gave this a thumb up.
Oh yeah, I have the text.
No, you don't. I got a stinking bachelor party on Saturday. Golf.
You're not going to that part.
No, I'm not going to that part at all. God.
To that point, right? So our dad was not a hunter when he got married. You want to guess when he got married?
No, he was.
No. Nope.
No?
Not.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was what?
It was like 2 years after the fact.
He was 21 at the time. So.
November 24th. Oof. Yeah. Really screwed the pooch there. So,
Dude.
Dad, if you're watching.
sorry, bud. I love you.
Love you, Mr. Biscuit.
November 24th. Yeah. No,
I got my girl hooked on the spring wedding.
I hope I got the day right. Yes. This is the 24th, right?
Like before turkey or after turkey? Or
So
like
she's
late?
talking like April. So I know. But like, okay, but if I'm gonna
Does she
lose
like
deer
turkey
hunting
hunting?
and duck hunting or turkey, it's
Well,
like, you know,
I mean, they're all
it's-
things. They're
I
all
know.
things.
I'm trying to hook her on the whole summer
23rd.
wedding.
Oh,
but
God, I did get the day wrong. It's the 23rd. God, I suck at life.
They're all times.
It's a great show.
it's hard. There's always something going on.
Right. I mean, there really is. I mean, otherwise it's fishing and
Yep.
it's the spring walleye run. I mean,
Something.
it's just always
Anything.
It's always something. Yeah, for me, I haven't been out I mean, Wisconsin season's been going on here for over 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
And that it's been hot. It's been dry, mosquitoes.
Yep.
And that I don't have any bucks really patterning. In fact, right now they're all breaking up from their bachelor groups and stuff. So now my pictures are far more sporadic.
Yep.
And stuff. So I don't have any bucks on summer routines for the last couple of weeks. So it's like it's fine.
Yep.
It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good.
It's good.
It's fine.
It's good.
Everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. I don't need to be out in the stand right now. I will be out in the stand. My first set this year will be next Tuesday, October 1st, for the Illinois opener.
Oh.
Heading down to Bigger Buck Outfitters.
I'm telling you.
Travis Biggers.
Hopefully you get to sit in one of those hort blinds because you know what? They're pretty bougie.
Are they?
Oh, dude. If you got to tell them, be like, hey, if there's a nice buck in one of those hort blinds, let me hunt it because the windows are big and it's nice to hunt.
And there's a bidet in there.
There is. It's
There's a bidet?
It's high pressure though, so you got to watch out. I'll blast you right through the roof. But no, yeah.
I like a bidet.
I do have to ask you one question. And I ask this to almost all of our guests. What has been your most memorable hunt up to this point?
So I would say
Can you narrow it down to a species?
there's
Jesus.
two. There's two.
Okay.
I would say my most memorable hunt ever would be with my dad last year, opening a northern duck opener. Me and him camped on an island together. We shot one bird in the first 2 hours.
Okay.
And we were pissed at each other. It was like a pissing match. We both went to the opposite sides of an island, and we ended up limiting out by the end of the day. We just had a blast. We came together. Me and him buckheads all the time, but man, it was a good experience, and we love each other to death. But we just buck heads, you know. So that was a really, really cool experience with him. And then also, I would say my first hunt out in North Dakota. I was like a kid in a candy store, man. I'm like, oh, there's birds over there. They're like, dude, that's only 50 birds. Like, just relax. I'm like, dude, that's a lot of birds. You know, I was just like, I was so excited, man. I would say that. And like, oh man, it's so hard because like even my bear hunt this spring was a freaking blast. Like I was blessed with that.
You had a great.
You know, I
bear
chased
hunt.
after it, and like the hike out was insane, dude. Like we were climbing down like literally waterfalls and all this other crazy stuff.
We should have got the pictures. We should. Have them
Dude,
up
yeah,
right
and I
now.
slipped and fell into the creek bed, and we'll talk about it some other time. It's a pretty cool story, but
Next week.
Yeah.
Oh no, next week I'll be in Illinois.
You'll be in Illinois.
yeah.
But what the hell? I think Johnny, honestly, thank you very much for coming back on.
Heck yeah, man.
We'd love to have you back on again.
Well, let's do it.
You know,
man.
Oh, yeah, for
let's make
sure.
you a freaking regular because you are just a natural in that chair in front of the microphone.
I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, you got
Cheers to
you
that.
got a really good thing going on with Drop 'em Outdoors and Taking the Bag. We're glad to be partnering with you guys.
Absolutely.
I think you got to just keep pushing on. You're doing everything the way you should be doing it, and I think all the success that you're gonna see in the future is well deserved. So
I appreciate it,
keep
brother.
plugging away, brother. And we want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Again, if you are watching us or have watched us tonight here on YouTube, now would be a great time to hit that subscribe button. We would really appreciate it. Ultimately, we would kind of want to transition over more on the YouTube side of things. And that once things get straightened out here with our streaming service and Facebook and Matt on that, we will always try to stream on multiple platforms and that, but we'd really like to boost up the YouTube side of things a little bit. We
And hit that notification bell.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really helpful for you guys to know what's going on too.
Guests we have and stuff. So stick with us, guys. This is, it's kind of a tricky time of year. I've been getting calls from multiple different people wanting to come on the show. I've got people backlogged. It's just now we're in the meat and potatoes of hunting
That's right.
season.
Yep.
And I'm going to be gone on multiple trips. We have guests that are going to be gone hunting a lot and stuff. But we're going to try to continue to put out shows the best we can, as often as we can.
Always.
2024 has been a really, really tough year
Terrible
for Drew
year.
and I.
Hate it.
Just a lot of stuff going on. And if you've been following along with us, you know what it is. And I don't want to get into all of it again, but we appreciate you guys sticking with us through the highs and lows. And we're just going to keep chugging along, doing what we do here at Midwest Racks and Rods Outdoors. So until next time, folks, always outdoors.